Overnight, the skies across the Middle East lit up with a new wave of missile fire, signaling the sudden and violent resumption of open conflict between the United States and Iran. These latest U.S. strikes targeted multiple locations along Iran's southern coast, with explosions registered dangerously close to the country's only nuclear power plant in Bushehr. The human toll registered immediately. On Qeshm Island, falling munitions struck a residential complex, killing a couple and their 2-year-old child. Iran retaliated within hours. Their forces launched a barrage of missiles that had to be intercepted over Jordan, and a separate drone strike hit a Chinese company's facility in Kuwait, leaving 1 worker dead. In less than 24 hours, the violence shattered its bilateral boundaries. What began as a targeted exchange has instantly spilled across 3 different borders, plunging the region into a multi-front crisis. This rapid escalation follows the total collapse of the Islamabad Memorandum of Understanding, an interim diplomatic agreement meant to keep the peace. That fragile ceasefire broke when the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps attacked a United States military base in Jordan. President Donald Trump promised massive retaliation. That threat materialized into a continuous 13-day American bombing campaign across Iran's southern provinces. With diplomatic containment abandoned, both nations are now trapped in a reactionary military loop. Every strike demands a counterstrike, driven by the political necessity to save face. Political leaders are staking their ground on the control of global trade routes. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu suggested the Iranian threat to the Strait of Hormuz could be bypassed entirely by moving energy pipelines to the Red Sea. But defending those vast territories exposes a massive logistical vulnerability for the United States, a rapidly shrinking supply of high-end air defense munitions. Look at this chart of U.S. Patriot interceptor inventories. Before the war, the U.S. held roughly 2,330 missiles. Today, that stockpile has plummeted to 750. As this gap widens, the U.S. is forced to accept significantly higher risks when defending against incoming barrages. Contrast the American shortage with what you see on this map detailing Iran's mosaic defense. Instead of concentrating forces in large bases, Iran scattered its military assets into dozens of highly decentralized nodes. America relies on multi-million-dollar interceptors that are running out. Iran relies on cheap, dispersed weapons that are easily replaced. It is a severe tactical mismatch. This mismatch is pushing the violence into neighboring countries. Joint U.S. and Saudi airstrikes recently hit Iraqi territory, killing at least 20 fighters from the Popular Mobilization Forces. That strike triggered intense internal blowback. Influential Iraqi Shia cleric Muqtada al-Sadr publicly condemned militia leaders, accusing them of enjoying comfort and commerce while sending their fighters to die. Further west, the violence compounds an existing humanitarian disaster. Hospitals have capacity as essential medical supplies dwindle, while a simultaneous demolition campaign destroys villages in southern Lebanon. The economic fallout is widespread. Unidentified drones recently set fire to ships at an Egyptian port, and multiple oil tankers are turning back from the Strait of Hormuz to avoid the crossfire. The architects of this conflict are largely insulated from its effects. The actual price is being exacted from global supply chains and civilians caught on the ground. The United Nations is urgently demanding that both sides cease fighting and return to the negotiating table before the damage becomes irreversible. Defense analysts argue the current bombing campaign is a reactive cycle of retaliation, lacking a clear strategic framework to bring Tehran back to the negotiating table. Attempting to dismantle Iran's decentralized blockade network exclusively from the air requires a timeline the United States simply cannot afford, given its shrinking munitions stockpile. While the airstrikes produce visible damage, they have yet to degrade the decentralized blockade or account for the imbalance in missile inventories. For now, the military exchange is stuck in a state of operational deadlock. Military planners now expect the conflict to shift into an asymmetric phase, with Iran likely aiming its missiles at U.S. bases in Gulf nations like Kuwait and Bahrain. Meanwhile, diplomatic backchannels are attempting to manage the fallout. This map outlines a recent proposal from Oman to divide the Strait of Hormuz into 3 maritime lanes, isolating Iranian territorial waters from international traffic. Yet these localized negotiations are struggling against a theater of war that now stretches unbroken from the Persian Gulf to the Mediterranean Sea. The Middle East is locked in a grinding war of attrition. Without a decisive military solution available to either side, the only certainty is that destruction will continue, and the civilian death toll will steadily climb.